So hello there. In this session, I want to show you a most common issue, and I want to show you how we can fix this. When you are sending out emails, you can get this warning message. Be careful with this message. It could actually, be spam or harm you, and so on. And you see also, if something is sent out, you see this little thing here. It's called it's sent out via a specific server, and this is, it doesn't really have anything to say about if the email is going to be delivered or not delivered, or it's going to be sent into the spam folder directly or not. But if you have your own domain set up, this email is coming from, when you send it with your email marketing system, it just looks nicer than if it's sent via any other domain the client might not even recognize, and this little via is always popping up. So it's kind of irritating, right? So I want to show you how you can actually get rid of that, and how you do this with ActiveCampaign and also with Namecheap. It's a little tricky, I have to say so, and that's why I think this is really good that I can walk you through this process. So first of all, under the settings in ActiveCampaign, you click on Advanced, and then you see here that either you have the authentication, so to speak, through ActiveCampaign. That means ActiveCampaign manages basically the delivery for your emails, and this is what's happening when you have this set up like I had before via, right? So, but now you want to change this to I will manage my own email authentication, right? So I'm having really a hard time, as you can hear, with my brutal accent to say it right. But anyways, my brutal German accent, right? Always sounds so like, ugh. Anyways, so, right. So we want to change this. So how to do that? So again, you go here to the settings, advanced, then you check like I will manage my own email authentication, right? And then here you have to enter now your domain name. So that's basically the most important thing. So I click on like copy my HTTPS papas.marketing, and then I jump back in here, click enter, right? I also remove the dash at the end and just say generate. So now, as you can see, this generates two things. It's first of all a TXT record name. So this is very short here and very easy. And then you have a TXT record value. This is like the key that's kind of like super long. But those are the two things you need to enter at your hosting company. And usually it's in the cPanel, so in the control panel. And I show you how to add that and how you can actually then prove if it was done properly and if it's there. So how to do that? You jump first of all into your control panel, and I start at the main control panel. That's a standard control panel usually most of hosting companies provide for you. And then there is under the domains section a so-called zone editor, right? And you click on that guy. Now, what you see is here, you see all different kinds of domains which I'm hosting on that particular hosting company. And then you also see here papas.marketing, right? So what I do is I click on manage because I want to look into all those records, right? What I can see from papas.marketing, right? From the mails, and it goes through lots of other things here. Fact is that, you have actually one additional entry to do. So you see here there is a filter. It says all, then it says AAAA, CEA, CNAME, MX, SRV, and TXT. So TXT, now this is actually what you want to add. You want to add a record, right? Because this is exactly what ActiveCampaign says. You will need to update the DNS records of any domain name that you use as a from email address, right? So that's what we are going to do now. Now, you basically got the TXT record name. So that means you copy this, right? And go into your cPanel and say now here you want to add a record. And now you basically see that it's asking you for a valid zone name. So you paste this, right? Everything else I keep the same. This is a little tricky. You almost can't see it in this cPanel here. It is asking you about the type. And the type, what you have to enter is a TXT. You have to use and select and pick and choose a TXT type entry. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And now in the record, right, this is super important now. You copy your value, your key. And this is where you are going to enter your key. So once this is done, you click Add Record, right? I click for now Cancel because I already added it, but this is how you do it. And then you click Add Record, okay? So once you added it, you see it here on the bottom. This is exactly how it looks like. That is my additional entry I have been adding to it, right? So now you think this is all, but no, it's not. There is a second step. And the second step, actually, it says also you can basically then check and see how the entry looks like. And I'll show you this in a moment as well. But it's also important, for instance, that you add the server specifications or the server name and DNS record from ActiveCampaign. So now the question is, where can you find the DNS record of ActiveCampaign, right? And when you go back also to your settings and under advanced, this is where we just have been setting up the DKIM domain keys, right? And this is also where you find the option or the possibility to generate the DNS record, right? So all you have to do is you type in your domain name and click Generate. And once you did this, you see like here, it basically tells you that V equals SPF1 include emsd1.com, is precisely what you want to enter to your record. And how to do that, I'll show you now in the next steps. So ActiveCampaign has a standard entry here, and I'll show you where to do this, which you will find, or sorry, it's not ActiveCampaign. It is, of course, like in the cPanel, the entrance from Namecheap, right? And you will find somewhere here the V SPF1. So V equals SPF1 entry, right? You see this one here. And as you can see, I already added something, and it includes the so-called emsd1.com server from ActiveCampaign. And this is what is in a standard DNS entry in a record actually missing. So you want to add this. And how you can figure that out, I'll show you now in the test. So for instance, when you go to the ActiveCampaign checker, so this is basically, the domain keys checker. So you can see if it's actually working when you enter this to your domain name. I show you how it looks like if it's not working with example.com. So if I enter this, because I don't own this domain, of course, then you can clearly see, like, before you entered it, because this is not my domain, and it's not, of course, set up correct to work with ActiveCampaign, you basically see the error. It says there is no domain key at your domain. If you have enabled the option, I will manage my own email authentication. This will cause delivery problems, right? So please fix your key. And the SPF is also not set. And now the SPF is this weird thing with the V equals SPF1, dash all. So you see this is the entry at that specific example.com domain. And when you look back here, look at this. We have an entry already. V is SPF1. And what I wanted to show you here, the original entry at Namecheap looks like that. So it's just SPF1 plus A plus MX plus IP. And there you find basically 1, 2, 3 IP addresses, which are, so to speak, ActiveCampaign calls it whitelisted. But that's what you have to do. Now, I changed this one by clicking on, first of all, you make sure it's your domain, and then you search the TXT entry or record with the V equals SPF1, right? And then that might look different wherever you are hosting, right? So if you're hosting your stuff at a different hosting company, and of course also you will have a different IP than mine, then this will vary. This will look a little different, right? But then you click on it and you change this entry, and all what you have to do is you have to include this code, include and then colon emsd1.com. This is what you have to add. And I really want to highlight this here as well, because you really can see it a little bigger here. V equals SPF1 include colon emsd1.com comes right after, and then comes the rest, right? So all I did is you copy this or you add it to your existing record. That's what you have to do. And I know it's a little tricky. I have to say it also took me a while to dig into that and figure it out. And it's like, oh, I'm not really a big fan about coding, etc. But it's so important that you're going to do this, because you want to make sure that your emails are not ending into the spam folder, and you want to make sure that, you don't get these errors, right? So I did it already before, and all I have to do now is I test and check my domain by typing in papas.marketing, and there is no www in front of it. You don't put any HTTPS in front of it, nothing like this, and you just click enter and check. So now you see this was done correct. Your DKIM key is correct, sorry. And then look at this. It actually really spit out that specific record. Your SPF record is V equals SPF1 include colon emsd1.com, right? And if this entry, if this would fail, this would also fail here. And then you would have the same, error message like you see here on the example.com. So the DMARC is obviously fine. So you don't need to worry about that. And now you're all set and good to go with sending out your emails from ActiveCampaign, right? And you can do this, of course, with any other email automation system. Doesn't matter if you use Infusionsoft, MailChimp, Drip, ConvertKit, or whatever, you name it. It's basically the same. And of course, you need to look into the control panel of your hosting company where you can find that. But again, I showed you how you can do this here, even if it's a little bit tricky, under domains zone editor, and then copy and paste those records over, and then you will be fine, and your email is set up correctly and linked to your domain. And the checker, this is what you want to make sure, should be on green lights on the DKIM and the SPF section. I hope that helps you as well. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me, of course, and I'll see you in my next video.